We have some major breaking news as it has been announced that Legacy Motor Club is officially suing T.J. Puchyr. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. As we just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive and major breaking news this morning, as it has been announced that Legacy Motor Club is suing T.J. Puchyr. Here's a report by Bob Puchyr. Legacy, who is suing Rickware Racing over a deal to purchase Rickware Racing Charter, was chartered and if sale for 2026 or 2027 disputed, has sued T.J. Puchyr, who now plans to buy both Rickware Racing Charters for tortious interference of contract. Puchyr, former Spire co-owner, brokered the Legacy Motor Club and Rickware Racing deal. What's really interesting about that is now we're finding out that T.J. Puchyr was a major part in the early portion of this lawsuit. Let's go back to the early portion of this year. It was announced on April 1st that Legacy Motor Club was suing Rickware Racing over a little bit of a contract dispute. It was due to the fact they weren't sure if it was for 2026 or 2027. They asked for a preliminary injunction against Rickware Racing. The judge in that case had officially denied that side of things at the time, though things have not been updated at this point. Earlier this week, they had a hearing. Basically, what is going on here is that there is basically a situation with a contract from 2026 to 2027. Legacy Motor Club is claiming that they're supposed to get a third charter for the 2026 year, and they want to expand to a three-car operation in 2026. Meanwhile, T.J. Puchyr and Rick Ware are claiming, no, we signed it for 2027. You guys just changed the date on the court documents and moved that to 2026. Well, the Legacy Motor Club has come back and claimed, no, we had originally signed a deal for 2026, but you guys want to change it and move back to 2027. And now you've got this other side of things where T.J. Puchyr is wanting to basically come in and purchase the Rickware Racing team and organization for what we're hearing over $100 million at this point. It might be more. We're not entirely sure exactly how many figures it is, but I'm hearing that number is in the nine digits at this point. Now, T.J. Puchyr has also stated they want to expand his program to a three-car operation by the 2027 year. And let's say he does keep these charters and somehow they do win this side of the case with the lawsuit, there is a potential possibility that Rickware Racing or whatever the name T.J. Puchyr is going to have, there's a very good chance and possibility that you are going to see that team potentially be a three-car team by the 2027 season. Now, let's say Legacy Motor Club is in fact able to win both lawsuits, not only against Rickware Racing, but also against T.J. Puchyr. They would be able to get their way and would become a three-car organization. We know that they're looking to be a three-car team as early as next year. The big question is who could be that third driver. Some are going to be looking at Daniel Suarez, who could be that third driver behind the wheel, but I don't see Suarez being the driver of that third car at this point. My theory is that he might go back down to the Xfinity Series and maybe drive for Junior Motorsports. I don't think Legacy would be a terrible option, but I think they're going to look more on the Toyota side of things or look at a younger driver. And I think you have to look at Jesse Love. There's been a lot of talk about Jesse Love brought up in recent weeks about him maybe being a NASCAR Cup Series driver next year. Let's say Legacy does end up getting that third charter they've been promised for next year from the Rickware Racing team, then more than likely they'll become that three-car organization. But let's say T.J. Puchyr and Rickware Racing win this lawsuit. What would mean is that they would become a three-car organization down the road. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about RFK maybe being involved in this in some way, shape, or form, which, by the way, RFK Racing, they basically will be a three-car team next year in 2026 because they have to transfer the charter back from the number 15 and transfer that for the number 51 charter, which would go to the 60 car. So as of right now, Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, and Ryan Preece will all continue driving in 2026. But then, of course, you have to look at 2027. There's obviously rumors about Dodge maybe be coming to the NASCAR Cup Series. NASCAR could open up a possibility if the charter system is still around, which that could be a big wrinkle to watch as well with the lawsuit on the other side. But there could potentially be as many as 4 new charters available. So could RFK Racing be one of the teams that purchase one of those charters and they can continue being a three-car team? Or could we potentially see someone leave the organization? Or let's just say this, maybe Brad Keselowski retires at the end of the 2026 season. I think that's going to be interesting to watch. But let's say Rick Ware and that team continue to win the lawsuit and they win their side of the lawsuit. Well, again, they would become at least a 2-car team more than likely, and they do want to be a 3-car team. The big question is who would be the drivers. Right now, we know Cody Ware is going to be back behind the wheel of the number 51 car in 2026. That has been confirmed, and Rick Ware is still going to be on with the team and organization going forward. So then you have to look at if you're going to have 3 cars, you have to look at what drivers could be options for the 2026 year. There are going to be a lot of free agents for 2027. You're going to have a lot of guys that haven't signed contracts. Like guys like Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, I expect to stay with Hendrick next year. They're not going to be options. Someone mentioned Kyle Busch, but I don't expect Kyle Busch to at least go down to a lower rated team. No disrespect to T.J. Puchyr, but I really don't see that team being good enough for Kyle Busch to go down there, because if Kyle Busch wants to go somewhere, it would likely be an upgrade at this point. Then someone mentioned Daniel Suarez maybe being an option, but Suarez I think will want to go to a better team than, let's be real, T.J. Puchyr and Rick Ware Racing at this point. I would have to think Corey LaJoie would be an option, considering that Corey LaJoie has worked with TJ before, because remember, TJ Puchyr worked over Spire Motorsports for many, many years. I would have to think Corey LaJoie would absolutely be a candidate for that seat going in next year if they do have two cars. And then, of course, you have to look at guys like Sheldon Creed, Sam Mayer, and even Harrison Burton as well, considering that Harrison Burton drove for Rick Ware Racing in the All-Star race earlier this year. I could see him having that second part-time entry for 2026, and all these guys getting chances and opportunities to get behind the wheel of this car. But man, so many lawsuits going on at this moment. You've got Legacy Motor Club suing Rick Ware Racing. You've got Legacy now suing T.J. Puchyr over the contract dispute. And you've got the NASCAR lawsuit going on, which might reach a boiling point in the coming days. We do think that 2011 and Front Row more than likely are going to lose their charters. The judge did say that by 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, that he will basically make a decision probably in the coming days. I'd have to think Thursday and Friday more than likely that we are going to get a decision on that front. And then, of course, there's a lot of other things that could happen on that side of things with the contracts for drivers. Like Tyler Reddick could become potentially a free agent. Bubba Wallace could become a free agent. In fact, I believe all 6 drivers who all have in their contracts, they have contract clauses where they have to have a charter car. There's a very good chance all those guys could potentially be in jeopardy with their careers at this point. Well, I expect Reddick and Bubba and those guys to have rights for next year. But who knows at this point, because I think you're going to have a lot of teams looking at this, and let's say they lose their charters. Could RFK keep one of their charters? These lawsuits are so wild. There continues to be so many lawsuits happening. It's like every single week we've got NASCAR going on and NASCAR at this point. It's just so many lawsuits happening. And now you've got another lawsuit happening where you've got T.J. Puchyr being sued. You've got the NASCAR lawsuit that's going on with 2011 and Front Row, which that trial date is expected to be set on December 1st. We're not even sure when this trial date is going to be set. You've got torturous claims coming out basically at this point with the charter disagreements. And in a nutshell, I wouldn't be surprised down the road if this is not the last lawsuit, because let's say NASCAR, sells some of these charters to other teams and 2011 Front Row get their charters back. Let's just say there could be a lot more lawsuits coming on down the road in the not so distant future. Could we see other teams purchase charters? Who knows at this point? There's a lot to happen though with this lawsuit going forward. We're paying attention to stories time progresses and goes on, but kind of while we've got another lawsuit going on in NASCAR, kind of wild stuff overall, in my opinion. So, that is going to take special breaking news report on Legacy Motor Club suing T.J. Puchyr. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go some more of that, and comment your thoughts below on today's video. What are your thoughts about Legacy Motor Club suing this T.J. Puchyr and Rick Ware? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And what do you think the outcome is going to be in that situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Later this afternoon, you're going to see NASCAR Xfinity Series Race 6 for the race at Dover. Tomorrow, we may have a NASCAR news video dropping on the channel, but if we don't have a ton of news the rest of the day, I might do a silly season update on the channel. Just have to kind of wait and see on that front. Then, of course, on Friday, if we don't wait till then, we'll probably do a NASCAR news video. Then we might have multiple, depending on how much news breaks over the course of the last couple days, as we're probably going to get a big update on the 2011 and Front Row lawsuit very, very soon. We're going to also have a lot of content this weekend. Weather could be a factor, so the race might get pushed back to Monday. We'll have to kind of wait and see on that front, but we got a lot of content coming on. People like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Cars, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bo Wallace, Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, Junior Motorsports, Connor Zilch, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Ryan Preece, you name it, Cletus Farr, Dodge, Ram, Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, Tyler Reddick, all the good stuff, Carson Quaffle, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, all the good stuff. We'll talk about all that kind of stuff on the channel in the coming days and weeks. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, buddy.